It's cheetah time. It's cheetah
Yeah.
time. Oh my gosh. It's funny because I wasn't going to share that video at the beginning, but I accidentally hit the wrong button, which is cool because for Toy it is because it's our first topic of today. Welcome to our weekly town hall update that we love to do, telling you what's going on with Action Takers Publishing. And Sally, did we have an amazing week or what?
Oh my gosh, we launched the book I read, and we had just so much fun. That day everybody was just so hyped up. Everyone was so excited. And we had some of the authors even on. So that was kind of special.
It was fabulous. One of the things I love is I'm a competitive person, but not really. I'm kind of one of those people that I could do without competition. But when something is going on that this excitement comes about, I move into hyper competitive mode. That's what happens on these launch days. I'm like, we're in second place. We can get first. We can overtake them. So we ended up hitting we got bestseller in 4 countries, 26 categories. We hit #1 in Canada and the US. And we passed up some really popular, famous people like Louise Hay, which was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Viola Davis, which was super awesome. Matt Damon, the actor,
Right.
And so it was just so fabulous. And like I said, for me, I'm not really competitive, but when I see that kind of stuff, this is getting fun. Yeah. And we did it. It was so cool. We held, first place for first place. We held that #1 spot for, I think, 3 or 4 days in a row. So that was exciting. That's one of the things we do. We love to create these #1 international best-selling authors. But most importantly is getting their stories out into the world to make a greater impact. So, man, what an incredible day. So what was your favorite part of that launch day?
Yeah, you know what? I love Don Green. He came on from the Napoleon Hill Foundation and talked about the book Think and Grow Rich, and he was just amazing. For 81 years old, and he's telling us these stories. And he's like, I only got 10 minutes. And he went on for a 45 minutes, just story after story after story. And it was that was my favorite part.
Yeah, it was funny because when I reached out to him, he goes, I got 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, Don, we will take your 10 minutes. I wanted to, every minute he would give, I wanted to have that because the value that he provided, the stories he tells. And then there's always some sort of moral to every story, even though he doesn't say the moral of the story is, there's something that you're learning through his stories, 81 years of life, plus talking about the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I asked him the question about, what was it like when you first walked in that door in Napoleon Hill Foundation? Wow, I'm really here kind of thing,
Yeah.
And it was just fabulous. And what I really loved is, I'm just going to say this because I thought this was so cool, is I had this idea as we were streaming. We had Don Green up here. It was me and Sally and Sandra Barker McIntosh. Sandra's book that she mentioned in the book I read, that the book that really transformed her life was Think and Grow Rich. So I said, would you like to have him on the show? And so, of course, everybody's like, yeah, let's have him. So Don was available, and I was like, Sandra, go ask him questions. And then I made Sally and I disappear. It was Sandra's interview, because I really wanted her to be able to step into that place of interviewing this man who is running the company of that book that transformed her life. And so it was just an idea I had right in the middle. I was like, ooh, we're disappearing, Sally, let's go, let's go hang on the back and see what happens. And it was just so phenomenal. So, yeah, the book I read, you can get it at thebookireadbook.com, thebookireadbook.com. These are transformational stories that people read a book and that book transformed their life, and they share the story of the transformation that they got from that book. Okay, so let's move on, because I know how I can just talk on and on and on about the same thing. So keep me on track, girl.
All right, all right. We're talking about our special. We have a buy one, get one chapter free for our future Action Takers collaboration books. If you're interested in being part of any of our books. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I think that, we can get more people into the books and get 2 of them. Why not?
Get 2 of them. Yeah. Share your story twice. Double the pleasure, double the fun, the double mint gun, right? Well, and the thing about the BOGO offer, buy one chapter, get one chapter free. If you decide to do this with us, just so you know, we just extended we were going to have it expire next week, but we decided to have it expire on Easter, on Christmas. This special, it does not go till Christmas. It goes till Easter Sunday, which is April 17th. So hop right in to one of our books right now.
Yeah, one of the authors I was talking to, and she's like, I wrote, my story, but it's only like part of it in this book. And I was like, she's like, I'm gonna get into the next book because I want to finish it, and tell the rest of it. So yeah, so that's what's exciting about being able to do this in little chunks and writing your, these little chapters one at a time of stories of things that happen to you. You can stay with us for years and get your whole life story told.
There we go. One chapter at a time.
One chapter at a time.
Well, and we have a special guest that's going to be joining us in the in the broadcast in just a couple minutes, and to talk about one of those many books that we have coming up. We have 8 books that we're currently, as of today, we have 8 books that we're currently working on. And so this guest that we're going to bring up with us, Sherry Leopold, she is co-authoring a book called Fabulous After 50. She just co-authored Wellness for Winners with us as well, which also hit that #1 international best-selling status. It was fast, fun, and easy, which is what we love to do. And here's what I want to share with you is, if you're sitting here listening, you're like, I'm not really sure if that book is for me, but you would love to be part of something like this. Reach out to us, and maybe you can co-author a book just like Sherry is doing with us. We do all the behind the scenes work. You don't have to know what to do. You just have to help fill the book. That's it. That is it. So if that's something that interests you, please reach out to us. Go to actiontakerspublishing.com. Either take advantage of that BOGO offer that we have, or reach out to us and just let us know that, I would like to head up one of your collaboration books. Let's get on a call and let's talk about it and let's make it happen. So with that said, I want to invite our guest to the stage. We got Sherry. Let me see. I got it right. I think. Did I do it? Is she up here? Yes.
Yeah, you got her.
I'm using my phone. I'm doing it on my phone. And so I'm like, I'm not sure how everything's going to work, but we are going to figure it out. And we're going to make it happen. But super excited to have you here, Sherry. Fabulous After 50 is the book that we're currently working on. And I would love to know from you, Sherry, first of all, how did this idea come about to have a book called Fabulous After 50? What does that mean? And who are we looking for to help us to fill this book, to tell their stories?
Well, thank you so much, Linda and Sally, for having me today. First off, it's interesting. I was in the shower and actually it just kind of popped into my head, that I'm like, I know the greatest people, and so many of them are, I'm almost 57, and I'm like, they're hitting their stride. They're living their best life, and they are so happy to be doing what they love and standing in their purpose. And that's me, and I had broken heart syndrome on my 50th birthday. I sat in the hospital being grateful that I didn't have a full-blown heart attack, and it was from stress. So that changed the trajectory of my life. And I don't want to say my life started there, but it took a sharp turn. And I made a lot of different decisions because of what happened, so that I could put myself, I guess, and my health at the forefront, but also so that like when you come that close to having something so serious, you become very introspective. And I was like, I want to be here. I want to stay here. And so that was definitely a point where I was like, okay, I've got to take care of me. But I also wanted to make sure I took inventory of what I wanted to do while I was here. So that sort of blossomed and opened up all kinds of opportunities. And I just am busy taking them. Kicking butt, taking names. That's what I'm doing.
Taking names.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, that's who we're looking for. I'm like, that's the person that we're looking for. I and Linda and I have an understanding on this. Like when we hear people say, oh, I'm too old to do that and stuff like that. I'm just like, that's not my people. Like, we need to get these people in a book so they can share their stories about how they're crushing it after 50. Like, they're just living their purpose and just loving their life, because we want to be an inspiration for those people who think that it's too late, or I didn't do what I always wanted to do. And it's not too late. Do it. And be able to see the people who are doing it.
Yeah, that's for sure. I love it. Sally, I think you had a question for Sherry there.
Yeah, no, I'm just agreeing with you, because, I think that a lot of times people, put those dreams on hold. They put them aside. And then once their kids are grown and their kids are out and they have that empty nest syndrome, and it's like, okay, I can do some stuff now. And I can go after that stuff. And you do think, well, maybe I am too old. Maybe my time has passed. But there are people that are crushing it, and to get those stories into a book, I think is going to be amazing. This is going to be
I know, and I envision the whole entire energy inside the book as being just so powerful, like vibrating with like joy and just expectation and dreams, and just it excites me even just thinking about, the collaboration and the power within it to inspire people to just go after what they thought maybe was lost or was not attainable.
Yeah, I love this because my life, I like to say that it actually started at age 51. And it wasn't because I didn't ever do anything in my life before that, but it was something different, like something snapped inside of me to say that you have to take it to heart, that this is a life and I'm here living it, but I'm just kind of like being here. That's really how I spent the first 51 years. Is like I was just here. And now I want to live my life. And so at age 51 is when I made that decision to do that. So I do have a question, Sherry. Does a person have to be in their 50s? Can they be 60, 70, 80 and beyond? Or what are we looking for?
Absolutely. And I would hope they would be. Here's the thing. I don't even care. Honestly, I don't even care if they're 45 or whatever. It's the point that you are standing in your purpose and you are creating the life that you love living, and that you love the life you're living. And, this is very true of people that started a career maybe at 20, worked it for 25 years, retired, and thought, well, and maybe didn't even love the job they did for 25 years, but they did it. It was a paycheck, it paid the bills, fed the kids, whatever. And then they like, well, what do I do with myself now? I mean, like, those are the people who are like, want to show that there are people out there who have done it, who have gone back to school. Maybe they want to be a doctor, or, it doesn't matter. You're not too old to pursue your dreams, and you're not too old to create the life that, that is going to be the legacy that you leave. Right. And that's what a lot of what I think people are going to see in this book is people's legacy is really what they're going to read about.
I love that. And let's talk about that word you mentioned. You said people who are crushing it. So let's talk about that, because crushing it is different for everybody. So what does that term mean to you? It's like, as we're talking about, people who, would be perfect fit for this book, what does crushing it mean to Sherry Leopold? What are we looking for?
So for me, crushing it actually isn't really related to money. So somebody might not be making the most money they've ever made, but they are the happiest doing whatever it is they're doing. That's what I consider crushing it in life is really, it's that sort of that purpose center, right? I mean, I don't care if crushing it means that you are somebody who's babysitting all 7 of your grandkids and helping raise them. If that's the way you are crushing it, and that you are living and standing in your purpose, that's amazing, because that's an option, right? And that's beautiful. Like, as long as you are living in your truth and your purpose and what serves you, and you are so happy doing it, and you are joy-filled, to me, you are very eligible to be writing about it and inspiring somebody else who's reading it.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's important, that piece right there, inspiring others who are reading it. Sherry, I would love for you to share with us what was it like the first time somebody said, I read your story and I get it, or I read your story and it helped me with this, or I read your story and what was it like that first time you heard some comment?
I think for me, it was a sense of fulfillment, like, because that is part of my personal mission is to impact women, especially to stand in their power. So the feedback for me coming back was, when it was the wow, that was like a feeling of completeness. I think maybe that's the word I'm searching for. And that was just fulfilling. I'm not sure I can grab any other words. It was just like, that's that standing in that purpose, and it's like, I did what I set out to do. I think that's what it is.
So that's so big, so big. I'd like to ask Sally the same exact question because you've been in several books now. And so Sally, what was that like when you're the first person that reached out to you and said, wow, your story, I read it, it made an impact?
Yeah, I think it would have to be the Invincible book. Because I pretty much bared some stuff that I really I was really afraid to put out there at first, and having that someone say that was just that okay, it is okay to put that out there. It is okay to be vulnerable and let people see that side of you. That you try to I don't know, I always try to be like the strong one. I'm the I was the oldest and I always took care of everybody, and so showing that side of me for me was really difficult to do. So it was just that, okay, yeah, this is okay to do.
That's fabulous. I know Sherry and I are on the same page with this, that, by you sharing that vulnerable time was actually a strength, right? Because a lot of times what we think that being strong means not talking about those things that we feel weak in. But when we share that what we feel is weak, it's actually a strength. I was talking to my husband about that today, how I believe vulnerability is one of our greatest strengths when we will step up and share from that place of vulnerability. So Sally, when you did that and you put together the chapter and you turned it in, she's talking about invisible no more, invincible forevermore, which both Sherry and Sally are in that book as well. And so when you actually wrote it and you turned that in, what did that feel like for you? Did you have any kind of emotions that came up that you were not expecting? I'd love to hear from you on that.
Yeah, I mean, because I was talking about something that happened in junior high school. So it was something that was like 30 years earlier. And I couldn't believe the emotions that were still attached to it. That, I thought that I had, okay, yeah, this is done with. But until I sat down and actually wrote it out and saw it on paper, and then, had to hit that send button, all of these, scared and what am I doing? Type emotions were coming up, and what are people going to say? And so, but
and what was the result? Yeah, what was the result? So then you submitted it, and then it was on its way out into the world, right? And so what was that result? Was your thoughts about it? I don't want to say unfounded, because our thoughts and ideas, I think, have very valid points. But were you proven wrong in your thoughts of what was going to happen?
Oh, absolutely. Because I was like, oh, people are going to, laugh at me, or it's going to be, they're going to say, what's wrong with you? You play these scenarios in your head. But it wasn't that way at all. So, and people were reaching out to me because of that and saying, oh yeah, the same thing happened to me. The same thing happened to me. And then people, I was sharing my story, and then they started sharing their stories with me, and getting all emotional with me and telling me stuff, and we were supporting each other. So, yeah, it was, it was liberating, I guess, or freeing. So
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that Sally's talking about. Was one of the things that occurred to me, and I know I've said thank you to Linda for this, but It was probably Invincible, or Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore, that actually propelled me to share some more personal details of my family, because I just really never put it out there. But I think part of it was, and I share even a little bit more in Wellness for Winners, but people see an end product, sort of like a polished stone, but they don't see the rough stuff before, right? And then they think, oh, well, she's got it all together, whatever. But like, they have no idea where you've come from. And I think that's part of the sweetness of the stories that are in these collaborative books, is you get to see a journey most often in people's stories where they start at one place and they end somewhere else. And there's always inspiration in the journey. So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I'm so supportive of being part of a collaborative book, is because you get the opportunity to show that transformation, if you will, in that journey, because it shows other people it's possible.
Yeah, that is so true. And Sherry, you have the Stop Bullying, Stop Self-Bullying movement. And really, I think in the process of writing your story, because what I like about the one chapter is it's very short and you don't have to like piece everything together because you're writing basically one short story, right? And through this process, like I'll use an example, like when Sally's, I put it up there, I thought this was going to happen. That was really some mental stuff that was going on that was underlying, right? And I know I had the same thing. Like when I was in my first collaboration book, I didn't even tell anybody about it for almost a year because I had in my mind all this stuff going on that I thought people were going to say, who does she think she is, kind of thing. And so that self-bullying that happens. So, in 1 minute or less, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Stop Self-Bullying movement, what that is all about and how people can connect with you about that.
Sure. So in 2018, I wrote Self-Bullying, What to Do When the Bully Is You. It was actually a kind of started because Anthony Bourdain committed suicide only 3 days after Kate Spade. And I had just had a conversation the night before that with a friend who was really not in a good place. And I basically was gripped by fear, honestly, by that when I heard that, because I thought she's so different than those people. And I was like really terrified that I would be getting that message about her. And I was thinking, what's the common denominator? And I was like, the only thing I could come up with was what they were saying to themselves, because it wasn't outside. It wasn't that they, family, it wasn't other people. They were famous. They had great jobs, money. They didn't have the kind of woes that like a lot of everyday people have, or my friend. And so I started thinking about that, what is that? What would that be called? I knew what it was that they were saying, but the self-bullying just dropped in. And I was like, that is what it is. Because if I said what I was saying to myself, to the two of you, either one of you, people would be like, oh, that's terrible. But we do it to ourselves and we're very comfortable with it. And I'm just like, that's where I am on a mission to help people. I just call it upgrade your self-love language, just to stop self-bullying. I mean, we'll never stop at probably 100%, but we can definitely limit it.
Yeah, definitely. So how can they find out more about that? Just at sherryleopold.com?
Sure thing. That'd be
That's
great.
sherryleopold.com, SHERRI. Oops, wait, hold on. There we go. SHERRILEOPOLD.com. But in the meantime, join us in Fabulous After 50. You have that story to tell. Again, go to actiontakerspublishing.com. Get your buy one, get one free up through Easter Sunday. So go get it right now. And Sherry, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this.
I just want to say one more thing.
Yes,
I would love to invite people to this collaboration, not just because it's a fabulous place to share your story, but because it is an incredible community and you will meet amazing humans that will be lifelong friends. It's not just about the story, it's about the community. So I invite you to join the community and be part of the Fabulous After 50 crew.
You heard it right here, Sherry Leopold. Looking forward to having you guys in our book. And Sherry, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And we're going to finish out the show. We'll see you in a little bit, Sherry.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that was fabulous, Sally. I'm super excited about what we have going on, working on Sherry's book, Fabulous After 50, getting that thing filled and published. I think we're looking at an August publishing date, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so gosh, how do I remember this stuff? I don't know. I'm like the elephant that remembers everything. But yeah, so super excited about what we've got going on and the future of Action Takers Publishing. What we're going to share, the last thing we wanted to share before we head out for the day is that we are hosting a Clubhouse on Clubhouse, the app. If you don't have the app, I highly recommend downloading it on your phone and checking it out. They have it available on Android and iOS, so go download it, the app Clubhouse. We're hosting every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're hosting a room talking about publishing. Like you're writing your book, you're thinking of writing your book, you want to publish it, what do you do? And we're going to tell you all about everything that you need to do to make it happen. Super excited. We met a new woman on our last one on Saturday, and it was just so amazing because she's like, oh my, you guys gave all this free information. We're so appreciative. And so that's what we're here to do, is to empower everybody to share their story with the world. Sally, what's your last words for the day before we head out?
Yeah, join us on Clubhouse. It's fun.
Yes, join us on Clubhouse. It is fun. Go get your BOGO offer, actiontakerspublishing.com, and that expires on Easter Sunday. And we will see you all later. Hey, we will see you later. Okay, we'll see you later.